What's going on, man? This is DJ Rico Banks, and we're here for another episode of Underground Reggie. And today we have Mike Mayhall on the show. He's the director of Bronx SIU. Mike, talk to the people and explain to them a little bit how you came up with your show.
The show. So I was approached by my producing partner and the show creator, Dan Garcia. He and I have been doing movies together off and on for, like the last 10 years or so. And Dan is originally from the Bronx. And we met down in Louisiana doing various movies. Mm-hmm. And one day last year he called me. He's like, "Hey, Mike, I got this, I might have this TV show coming down the line. I want you to come on board and help me direct and produce and do some writing with it. I'll let you know." And I was like, "Sure, man, absolutely. I'm here, man. Let's make movies already." And then, sure enough, a few weeks later, that phone call came, and man, we were just like shot out of a cannon. This is a Bronx SIU is it's an independent television series. Mm-hmm. You know, like it's a labor of love. What I mean by that, is independent is we weren't backed by like a studio or a network. We just had this goal and this vision and a dream, and just went for it. And and I think it came out pretty good, if I do say so myself.
I definitely second that. Another question is, what is one of the things that you like about working with the urban landscape?
In the urban landscape, I don't think there's just one thing that I can really just put my finger on and say, yeah, this is it. So if I sort of ramble, forgive me for a second because I'm trying to put it all together.
Okay.
I think what I really liked about it is that there was a sort of grit and reality that in SIU I felt we were really able to bring to this series. When you watch, and you said you saw one episode, but as you get further into the episodes, like you really feel entrenched in these people's lives, mm-hmm. and the causes that they have, and the fights they're going through, and the struggles that they're like some of these characters, they're the police officers, and they all have their different views on how to be a police officer in today's world. You know what I'm saying? Like
exactly.
They all have, and they're all trying to bring their different views on it. And they're not always views you might agree with, but you can see how at the end of the day, when they punch that clock, they're just trying to do their best and make their world better for everyone around them.
I definitely agree.
They're people. You know what I'm saying? Like they're people. They're people first. They're cops. They're always a cop, but at the end of the day, they just want it to be better for the average person on the street. They want it to be a safe world.
Yeah,
and it's not always an easy route. It's hard to get there sometimes.
Yeah, you're 100% right about that, and I have something I want to add on to that without trying to say too much. But from the episode that I saw, you can see that the character development is definitely there, and it's there early within the series. And each one of the characters, like how you said, they have their own human characteristics, and even when they're not on the job, they have these different things and these different struggles that they're personally going through and they're personally dealing with that keeps the story moving. And like how you said, it keeps you entrenched in the storyline.
Right. Agreed, man. I'm glad you picked up on that, man. Makes me feel good as the writer.
Oh, yeah, man.
Like we're doing the right thing. We're saying the right words.
Oh, yes, the series from everything I've seen so far is good. This was what I was going to ask you. Okay, with the characters Jimmy and Yolanda,
mm-hmm.
why was the if you could explain that a little bit, why is the pairing basically not male or female? Why was it important to have one male lead and one female lead?
I think it's I think first because you get an automatic different perspective on things, because men and women are just it doesn't matter how you shake it down, they're going to think and handle things differently, and that's just my opinion. Mm-hmm. No two people are going to really look at the same problem the same way, and I think when you further make that separation of male and female, they're each going to tackle it from a completely different perspective. So we really wanted to make sure we had a super strong female lead and a super strong male lead, and that and you'll sort of see as the show develops that they're not always agreeing, and sometimes it's like they're almost grappling for like who's the alpha in the group, because they both have a way that they want to do something coming from their background, and they're both right. It's just a matter of who's gonna win in that particular debate or argument. And I like strong female leads.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's an untapped resource. In the last few years, I've really seen a lot of shows that have got that, but I just think, it's just like we're just scratching the surface of where we should be with that, And it's also nice because as we have worked really hard to get strong female leads other than Yolanda. There's a bunch of strong females in there, and as we put out like some stills and we talked about it, women who are just sort of like not watching the show, but they caught a glimpse of pictures of this or that. They relate to it. They're like they're happy to see that. It's like they're saying finally this, and so I'm excited that they're excited about that.
Oh yeah, most definitely. One of the things that stood out to me is it's kind of like they're polar opposites. It's like they're one and the same, but at the same time, like how you say, it's like this grappling thing. Like you have one character that's already kind of bad, but they're trying to be good. But then you have this other one who's like assumed to be good, but they're going down a total opposite path.
Yeah.
Right.
It's almost like they're what is it? The different sides of the same coin.
Mm-hmm.
For sure. But yeah, it's important to me. And in the later episodes, you'll see how the female characters, how strong they really get.
Okay.
Not to say that the male characters aren't just as strong. I'm just you'll see it all. You'll see it all, I think.
Okay, along the same line of questioning, how was it working with the actors and actresses such as Brian and the others?
Oh, it was awesome. It was great. When I direct, as a director, I should say that I always know what I want. Like I see my beginning, I see my ending points, and I have beats I want to hit. But there's a path you have to take to get there, and that path to me is the creative process. And you have to stay open to that. And the actors, they fill in so many little details that maybe you as a director haven't quite seen or latched on to, or just sort of waiting to stay open to. They were great. I mean, I could sit and talk about each one of them and tell you just all the strengths that they brought to it. I mean, they were there. They were ready. They were engaged. They each had ideas on how they wanted their character to go. Shanti, the actress who plays Yolanda,
mm-hmm.
we would have what probably added up to just hours upon hours of character development as we developed her character of Yolanda. She's just one of my favorite characters, and just really has this beautiful character arc throughout the show. Strong, vulnerable, capable, intelligent. It's just wonderful. And we really work. We would work and work and work and work to get the character the way we wanted it, because she would come at it from, like we were saying earlier, she would come at it from one direction, and I was coming at it from another. We both saw the same vision. It was just the approach, you know? Brian was great. Brian was different in the sense that Brian had it sort of all worked out, and we would talk for a bit. We would go through things that maybe he was unclear on, because when you're filming several episodes at the same time, you know, he may not understand why this monologue or this scene is important. So then I'm like, well, this is important here because in episode 5 it pays off. So make sure to hit this beat. So once he gets keyed in, he just goes for it, and that's sort of his process. So it's just nice. Everybody had their own process. Miguel Nunez, he was just great. Like, we would just sit down and we would almost just laugh and joke about the character, and then I would say action, and then boom, he was the chief. It was just amazing. He
has an interesting character too.
Oh yeah. He's a wild card.
Okay, so I have a question for you. Okay, with Bruns SIU, would you say it would be easier? Well, it was easier working with a cast of more veteran actors as opposed to working with new up and coming talent?
Wow, I don't think so. I think it all really kind of depends on the actor, because Miguel was, he's a veteran actor, man. He's been there. He has done all sorts of things. I remember watching him back in Tour of Duty, like when I was a kid.
Right.
I don't know if you were familiar with that. It's the old Vietnam TV show. But he was just like 100% available and 100% open to ideas, which is what you want as a director. You want that collaborative process. And then you had actors like Jillian and Eddie Davenport and Leticia Jimenez, who are phenomenal actors, but just don't have the I don't want to say credits, but they're just not prominent. They're not famous yet, for lack of better words.
Mm-hmm.
But they just work super, super hard, and they're just so good. They're so amazing. I don't think I like working with new talent and undiscovered talent because they want it. They want it really hard. At the same time, I like working with veterans because they understand it. They know it needs to happen, and they just come at it from a different point of view. So I guess a long answer to a short question is that I like working with both just for different reasons.
Okay, that's actually a good answer. So I have another question for you. Okay, with this season of Bronx SIU being wrapped now, where do you see the show where do you see the show headed as it goes toward the future?
Oh man, I don't know how much I can say and give away. So as the show develops, it takes a lot of turns that I promise you just will not expect. And we spend a lot of time building this show, and it's kind of it's good guys and it's villains and things of that nature. I want to say, I'm not going to, without giving away too much, I want to try to create there are some gangs, some rival gangs that start popping up in the Bronx SIU world, and I want to create a kind of a turf war in Bronx SIU. Not in the traditional way in which you see it, but sort of a war of gangs with Bronx SIU trapped sort of in the middle. And I'm not sure where they're going to go yet because I want to get some cast input back. That's important to me. Mm-hmm. But that's one direction I want to go. I want to up the stakes to not just the Bronx. I would like to make the team of Bronx SIU all of like Manhattan. Like I want to see if I can figure out a way to open up their jurisdiction and really and doing that, opening up the storylines, and just really want them to go further into territories that I just think haven't been explored yet.
Okay, that's an interesting concept. What character in Bronx SIU would you say makes the whole team click together? Oh,
they all click. I think they're all integral to each other. Mm-hmm. when one person is down, each of them pick up the slack, but they feel it because like you have the character of Tessa, who is someone she's got computer skills and forensic skills, and she brings a unique perspective to the case, and so she'll follow the case in a different way than Jimmy does. And Jimmy is he's by his gut. He's like, man, I feel this, and he will act on that feeling. And you have Yolanda, who she's got great instincts, but she also has a real sort of analytical view of things. So she'll size it up in a different way than Jimmy. So each one brings a strength to the team. And then there's the character of Tariq, who is he's a younger detective, and he sort of sees he's somewhere between Yolanda and Jimmy. He's still finding his pathway, but without when one goes missing, man, the whole team is not operating at its full capacity.
Okay. So with the show getting ready to premiere this later on this week, is there anything else that you would like to tell our audience about the series?
Man, I ultimately, I make these shows and I make movies and TV because I want people to enjoy themselves. It would be nice if it started a conversation, but at the end of the day, I want you to sit back and go, man, I enjoyed that. I enjoyed the characters. I enjoyed the story, and I want you to just go for the ride. I just want you to be entertained and go for the ride at the end of the day, man. And if something else comes out of it, fantastic. But I'm here to just make you entertained. That's just me, though.
Okay. Are there any last things that you'd like to add?
Yeah, you can find us on Facebook, Bronx SIU. We're on Twitter, Bronx SIU1, BronxSIU.com. Check us out. We premiere July 19th. That's this Thursday on UMC TV and Amazon Prime. And, show us some love because I think you're going to really enjoy what we have, man. It's good, I think. Yeah.
And I think so as well. And this has been DJ Rico Banks, and this is another episode of Underground Reggie.